My only question is, how does this help out the Habs? Because today, the Montreal Canadiens are going to play off against the Philadelphia Flyers, and it is going to be a pretty meaningful game. You know, we've been saying this about the entire past few weeks here, but this is the game of the year. The Montreal Canadiens are hovering around in that last wildcard spot in the East, and I know y'all are getting tired of hearing about it, but they are right in the thick of it. They have a 10-point lead on Philadelphia, who is out of it. They're not in the thick of it, everybody knows. So ultimately, this is Montreal just hoping that they could pull off a 2-point win against this Philly team. Doesn't matter if they do it in regulation or in overtime, they just kind of need the 2 points. However, big news out of Philadelphia today, as the Flyers did indeed make a coaching change. Friedman said that he had heard John Tortorella has stepped down. And stepping down is a lot different from the verbiage that TSN is using. For example, this was posted on their broadcast earlier this morning. Tortorella fired by the Philadelphia Flyers. So is it fired? Is it stepped down? We don't necessarily know the full extent as to what's going on here. But ultimately, the verdict is Torts is out. And I don't think this is too surprising, especially when you look at the commentary that Tortorella made the other day. He said this: when you're in this type of situation, you're losing all the time, and there's nothing at the end of the tunnel for you, there's certainly going to be some frustration, Tortorella said. This falls on me. I'm not really interested in learning how to coach in this type of season where we're at right now. I have to do a better job. So this falls on me, getting the team prepared to play the proper way until we get to the end. And this is quite the thing to say, especially when the season is not over yet. The Philadelphia Flyers still have a number of games to go in the 2024-2025 campaign. It's kind of ridiculous. Imagine if you're a young Flyer, you're Matvei Mishkov. You're learning all these things, you're playing in the National Hockey League, you're scoring all these points. Sure, your team stinks, but you're going out there and you're doing your thing. That's what you need to do. You need to develop. You need to get better. You need to learn the ropes of being a National Hockey League athlete. And then your coach goes out there and says, yeah, I kind of don't really care about coaching this team. We're too bad. I want to be coaching a competitive team. I don't want to be coaching a team that's not in the playoffs. I don't want to be coaching a team that's this down in the dumps. We still got time left, but it's on me. It's my fault, guys. It's my fault that we stink. I didn't get these guys prepared enough. Imagine hearing that. You'd be kind of confused. You'd also be a little bit, maybe, I don't know if backstabbed or betrayed is the right word. But you might be thinking like, hey, Torts, is this not enough? Like what we're doing here? Obviously, we're still bad, but look at the team we've got. It's not great. So for Tortorella to go out there and say that, ultimately, I think that it's kind of the right thing to do for this conclusion to come about, how he is so visibly upset and outwardly upset with the way the season has gone and the type of team that he is coaching, that just a little while later, he gets the boot. Or he steps down, if you go by Elliot Friedman's verbiage. Step down, fired, whatever, he's not there anymore. And ultimately, I do think it is for his own benefit. I mean, Torts himself said that he wanted to be coaching a team that's more competitive, so I guess this opens the door up to him to getting hired by a Vancouver or something. Oh my god, did I just manifest that? Hell no. Hell no. Talk it out and Torts in? Oh, this city would implode. They already had Tortorella in Vancouver 10 years ago. Look at how that turned out for them. I don't know, no Sedins anymore, so maybe things would be a little bit different. But anyways, John Tortorella leaving the Philadelphia Flyers does one thing for the Montreal Canadiens. It gives them a vulnerable squad right here in their matchup today. Now, I will say, is there the potential for the Flyers to go out there and actually use this Tortorella departure as fuel for them to play the best game they've ever played all year? Yeah, I don't want to discredit that idea because I definitely do think it's possible. Kind of scary when you think about it, but at the same time, I mean, the team hasn't really been winning too many games just in general, and Tortorella being such the force that he was, and being the guy that he is in the locker room, losing that presence immediately, I don't want to make it seem like the Philadelphia Flyers are going to all of a sudden have direction with Tortorella gone, but we've seen coaching bumps happen in the past with the worst of teams, so I don't want to totally dismiss the idea that the Flyers aren't going to look directionless in today's game against Montreal because their head coach is gone. There is the possibility that everything clicks and everything flows well. They hit that runner's high on the ice and they just end up winning 5-1. They light up Jakub because he's got a weak high side on both sides. So, I don't know. Canadiens fans, we got to look out here, but this is a huge opportunity for the Montreal Canadiens. And ultimately, if they want to up their playoff odds to 54%, they need to take the 2 points against a Tortorella-less Philadelphia Flyers team here today. Like, I mean, who knows? If it's a new coach in Philly, who knows what Matvei Michkov is going to be allowed to do now? If you get a happy-go-lucky, run-and-gun style coach like Bruce Boudreau, for example, in Philadelphia, not that I'm saying that's a good fit, but Bruce Boudreau is one of the guys early on in Ovechkin's career who allowed him to do what he was doing. If you want that guy coaching Matvei Michkov, then I would not blame you. Although Boudreau is now 70 years old, so maybe he's not necessarily the best person for the job in terms of, timeline. But ultimately, there are different coaches who would probably be a lot more lax on Matvei Michkov because they know how special of a talent he is and they know what he can do offensively. Hey, screw off with the playing defense. We know that's what's important in this league for 70 to 80% of the players that come in here. If you don't play good defense, you're out. But we know that you are in the top 5 percentile of offensive capability, so defense is not going to be too important for you, Matvei. Just go out there, do your Michigans, do your fancy plays, do your dekes, and score your goals. That's what we care about. If you score 90 points a year, we don't care if your defense is subpar. And like, Andrei Kuzmenko's not there anymore, so there's no more translators. So obviously it's not ideal to have a player totally dogged on defense, but I'm just saying there's a possibility that the new coach that Philadelphia gets is going to totally allow Michkov to run and gun the way that we know he can. And that can be dangerous. So for Montreal's sake, let's just hope it happens later on and not tonight. But for now, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about John Tortorella stepping down / getting fired? I think the words that the Flyers used was that he got fired. So this seems more so like a, hey, either you're out or we're forcing you out situation. I don't know. Quit or you get fired. Something like that. Who really knows the right way to describe it, but at the end of the day, Tortorella is out of Philadelphia. Maybe those comments that he made really did seal the deal, but for this Montreal Canadiens matchup against Philly today, we'll see what happens later on in today's show. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.